Wow, this feels so good. It's one of those hot days out there, ladies and gentlemen, the 90s here in Minnesota. Well, I want to talk to you about totalitarianism and how it works. Well, it starts with a lie. As Donald Trump came on the scene, lying from the jump street, Barack Obama is not even a citizen. That's the first lie. What was it? A racist lie. Proving that the racism that was in white people had never gone any place. It's still there. And now he flicked that fire, got that going. And everything else was lies. And he lied through everything. I don't know how in the world the Senate Republicans approved everything that he did. They helped him. They helped him perpetuate a lie on America, the Constitution, and all the democracy that it ever stood for. They were in partnership with Donald Trump. And they still are today. And apparently the people in their constituents, they must support the same things. I mean, it's something else. But let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Remember this. There's chaos in our country, and there should be. There should be chaos in our country. There's no such thing as that somebody is superior to another people. Any people that will allow somebody else to be superior to them have been totally brainwashed. They have been totally brainwashed, brought to the state of a straight up fool to think that somebody else's material is superior to you just because of their material gains. That's because they were able to do what Donald Trump is doing right now, lying. And it brought together January 6th, and it hasn't stopped. He basically set in motion what he wanted to take place. When he went to the states and asked certain people to change the legislation, and they couldn't do it because the law would not permit it, what he was doing was giving directions. And then what are they doing? They're following those directions. They're changing their system to make sure that this bigotry and this hatred and this racism and stuff can continue. That's actually what they're doing. They haven't stopped. And the people who are going to be victimized by this, they're just laughing. They're not going to take, if you're going to say, well, you're a second-class citizen, you don't have any rights, and now you're going to switch everything back to make sure that you can't, even though they say you got a right, but you don't get a chance to exercise that right because they put the law to execute in such a way that it causes you a disability. No, that's crazy. Everybody's going to take that stuff. So what they're doing is causing a greater big conflict. The whole hope is that there would be a war. A war between not just Republicans, but a war between the people of this country. One on the one side, one on the other side. They're just divided like that. And that would give my friends a dictator, someone who wants to have power, if they get position to call out a military force to martial law. That's why you got people stacked in the Supreme Court. You got federal courts stacked with people who believe the same way you do, going to overthrow the government. All of these things are taking place. What they don't know is this. If there is ever a civil war, political war, whatever you want to call it, between the people of this country, there will be no winners. Or should I say, everyone will be a winner. To that, I would like to explain. Either you will wake up and realize that you've been tricked, that you've been deceived, and that there is no way that a billionaire can exist and a person of utmost poverty exists without having a connection between the two. I mean, that's just, again, a part of the program. That's a part of the foolishness. That's the part of the indoctrination that's taking place. But there should, as long as people, some can and others can't, there should never, ever be any peace. In fact, the Lord God Almighty does not want there to be any peace. Somewhere it is said, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, body, soul, and mind. I also heard, thou shalt have no other gods before me. So if I'm listening to my first wife, how can I listen to my second? If I'm listening to my second wife, that means I ain't got no, my first wife is gone. In other words, you can only do one. So if you're following God, there's no way you can follow the evil. If you're following the evil, the only way you can follow God is to give up evil. And to give up evil means that there would be peace, prosperity, and freedom and joy. That your needs would be met, your desires would be met, your wants would be met. There would be a lot of life on earth. And that's what I've been talking about all this time. So there's not supposed to be any peace. There's not supposed to be any normalcy. There's supposed to be chaos every doggone day until you get it right. But now, if you don't have anybody following God, you're going to have what we've had in America for the past 400 years. Well, ever since America has been here, that's what we've been having. People not following God. Preachers going to church, that was nothing but a game. No, it was nothing but a game, and it is still nothing but a game. Look at those preachers up there trying to get all your money. Look at them how they're calling Satan down to fight against the Democrats. Look how they're talking about they got the right to have power. That's not it. All that stuff about God that you've been hearing about it has been nothing but foolishness. I know you don't want to hear it, but it is foolishness. Why do I say it's foolishness? Because the world is continuing right on down that path to hell. And whatever those preachers are talking about ain't doing nothing to stop it. But guys like Dr. King and Malcolm X, one was talking to the white structure, one was talking to the black structure, but the structure was being identified and dealt with from a perspective of love. And what happened to those guys? They were killed. Billy Graham wasn't killed, not by the devil. None of them. None of them. They just died, just like anybody else. And they had no real significance for the purpose of God. They were just lifting up what we call America. So, let me see, should I wrap it up now? I think I would like to wrap it up by saying, when the Civil War was going on, I don't know if the story is adequate, and the guys who went out to battle went back home, they found that their city, their town, their properties, all the stuff was basically destroyed. They had to start all over. If that happens here in America again, everybody will go back. When the wars are, when the last bullet or bomb is dropped, and you look around, you will see nothing but devastation and destruction. Devastation and destruction. And you Americans would have, if that's remained, would have to start all over from scratch. Most of you would have no information about how to operate computers. Most of you will not have any any information about doing anything. You just be wondering, walking around with your head down, wondering who's going to come to your rescue. And you know what? If you got any resources that some of these other powers are aware of, they will come over and invade you and take your stuff. Just like that. You have just given it up by being led by a liar. A liar. A deceitful liar. And that deceitful liar was empowered by you. So if you don't want to be destroyed, and that's what you're doing now, you're on the path of destruction. If you don't want to be destroyed, start listening to the Spirit. And if you want some more information from a guy that really cares about you, or a guy who's not trying to take anything from you, a guy who's committed himself for you, then listen to Eddie Marcus, YouTube, Facebook, the posts that I have done. Now, in these posts, you will find I've talked about you. I've talked about white folks. I've talked about black folks. I've talked about church folks. I've talked about everybody. I've taken you and talked to you like you were mud, trying to see if I can wake you up. It didn't work. And so now you have seen the failures of your failure to listen to guys like Dr. King, Gandhi, Malcolm X, and guys like me. This is why you're in the hell that you're in. You refuse to listen to guys like us. And you will always stay there until you wake up and realize that God sent us here to save you. Till next time, Eddie Marcus saying goodbye.